But yeah, so that was just such a multitasking here. I'm not doing so good. So again, in case you missed that first intro, we'll go again. This is Monkey Mind with Rob, and this show is dedicated to. You can tell I have a little brain damage if you're just hearing this. I just repeated the whole thing, but so anyway, this is Monkey Mind with Rob. This is a show all about GBM, brain cancer, and living in one's moment. And I kind of look at the two, monkey mind and cancer, kind of being the same thing, but it's also everything is very natural. And as I have been taught this week, is that by some just beautiful people that yeah, it's almost like you gotta remember not to judge it and almost welcome this stuff, welcome these highs and lows. Uh, they're just part of your experience, and it's so easy to just slip out of that and forget it, and then you start just running with your monkey and just start totally identifying with the monkey, whereas it's more of a separate entity in a sense, or a separate kind of thought. And then you got to watch it because you start judging that monkey. You create another monkey and another monkey, and pretty soon you're just having your mind is just a zoo of egos fussing at each other. And it's so much about welcoming our welcoming these things, welcoming life. And what a good mantra I always follow is like I was taught that if you're not in a state of joy, ease, and lightness, then your monkey is you're identifying with your monkey, and it's running the show. And it's also managing stress. And there's so much stress is like a natural thing, but there's unhealthy forms of it where it just gets to be just a negative speak where it's just bringing you down, and you don't invite the event or whatever it is. It's a part of you. You'll manage as best you can with it, and you'll do your thing. Um, I got this great. I'm gonna try and read it later by Rumi, which I'm not too familiar with, but my friends, man, because like I said, okay, I don't know. I may have to repeat that part. But after last Saturday's show, I went home and I did some more shrooms. Was by myself, of course, doing the quarantine thing, and man, I went down a I went down a real I don't know. It was just really my monkey was really begging for like a purpose. Like I really felt over the last few years, I've kind of lost a little bit of, I guess, for lack of a better, just go back to that, a purpose. Like you had this passion or something that you really wanted to do, and then as you go through the process, you realize, it's kind of, I don't know, maybe not as grand as you thought. Like a lot of things in life turn out to be really the simple little things are the most profound. You can spend your time running after this or that, where it's really not what you're trying to get at or be. And what you're trying to get at and now is right now. And if you, so I was kind of doing that classic uh, projecting, and you can't live there. You live right now, and you always live right now, and you're gonna do things right now. You're never gonna do it in the future. Past isn't holding you back. It just is what it is. It's gone, and it always goes back to right now. If you can put your focus, all these things, like everything I was falling apart on, I wasn't being my friend. And then I was like, I told this to my sweet friend, and she was just like, well, that's your purpose is right now is what you're doing right now. Whatever that is, whatever you're about right now, that's your purpose. And I was like, duh. Okay. Wait, I knew that. But man, the monkey, it's tricky. But accept your monkey and be great. And I'm grateful for my monkey, and I am grateful for my brain cancer, and I am grateful for being. Um, yeah, and soak that in, and just remind yourself the gratitude, and welcome all the highs and lows that you're feeling. Um, and that's part of this thing I'll probably read later from Rumi. It's called The Guest House, and it's kind of like invite them all, invite it all, and that's a pretty profound thing. And I think it can help so many people. Like you think, like I get down, like this whole isolation thing has been kind of weird, though. I do kind of. This is more typical to how I live because I don't really go to a job and work with other people and stuff. I'm doing stuff kind of basically by myself, either art or computer stuff or working on my house. Even when I'm doing my because I also do like a rental, and even when I do that, I don't really go and greet guests or something like that. I'm pretty, but I mean, I'll talk to him and stuff if it happens. But I guess the layout of my property, it doesn't really require that, but it can at times. And that's cool. But God, why did I even talk about that? Oh, because I was talking about my life living standards to this quarantine. Yeah, but it's different. It's definitely different. And I was out on my porch last night, and man, I heard one of my neighbors has got to have it because I heard that there's a real raspy, does not a respiratory cough. Did not sound fun, not at all. So my friend is I met. I mean, I never met this guy, but we kind of bonded over GBM stories and stuff like that. And he had a pretty aggressive looking GBM, and the I know I talked about this on the front end, but I don't know if I talked about it on this because I do like a live thing on Facebook too. If y'all ever want to see what's happening here, which is not much. Oh, and I'm talking into a sock, but this is my sock I brought, and it's got pink flamingos all over it. So I think it's kind of funny. I had one of my friends say, because I used to live in a trailer. I mean, not that long, but for like a little bit. And I had and I was on those pink flamingos look too cool. So I got a couple of those, and usually I'd set up my little campsite because I had like a little awning came off my trailer, and I'd set it around, and I'd put my flamingos out in front and stuff. And then I had one of my crazy friends. He's like, "Well, that means you're a swinger." I was like, "Nah, dude, I never heard that. It just means you. It looks funny." I mean, this is so my trailer is really it's a 1961 looking Shasta uh, Airflight. It's got like these chrome wings on the back, and it's like a red and white. It's like they also call them canned hams. So it's very I don't know. It's really cute. But I had a fun time living in that for a while across the lake. Mainly, I mean, I went to other places too, but I was staying close to the city. I've been hearing too our river is really really high. I haven't gone out and checked it. I used to like really going out to the levee and seeing when it's really high like that. It just shows you such a and then those ships that go by, they're like you're like looking up at them. It's a really crazy when the river gets so high like that. And I'd heard we're gonna lose the river like maybe in our lifetime. Like the river is supposed to find its easiest course to the I guess gravity, so it wants the straightest course it can take, and that's apparently it wants to go, and the Army Corps has been blocking it for years. And I think I saw some documentary where they had a few of the guys in that Corps, they were gone we're not going to be able to stop this for forever. It's like Mother Nature, man. It wants to go. But and I think what I heard is that our Mississippi would then kind of form into almost like a little lake kind of thing. You know, like it'd be boxed off, like the sediment would kind of fill it up, and it'd get all still water. Yeah, changes. Things change. Look at this, man. This is a big change for all of us, isn't it? I'm a little back and forth on this. I think some of this, because I was looking at myself as a good example, how I was kind of maybe a little tripping out on just a little bit of my extra isolation. Like I had it kind of isolated, but then this put me kind of over into a different category or something. I don't know. But I can imagine mental health, this whole quarantine thing, shutdown is going to be difficult on a lot of monkey minds out there. And yeah, but yeah, just welcome it in. And I was thinking too, it's like how many people get stuck in that kind of vibe, like suicide. It's like you give yourself just like a little bit more time, you know, just give yourself like a little bit more space, because I mean things just change. I mean, a couple of days ago, I was kind of down. I was kind of down at myself and just going like, man, you just got no, like, what are you doing? I get that there's not much purpose, but that's okay. I mean, it's a beautiful thing. It's just like a beautiful abstract painting. I mean, it's, you know, you don't have to figure everything out or you know, just make peace. It's beautiful. And it sometimes it just comes out of the littlest thing. And most of the stuff, it's like the things you know. It's like you're looking for something and you like have it the whole time. And it's such a kind of distraction, you know, like you're like, oh man, I gotta have this thing. And it's like, you look down, it's like you're sometimes in your hand or it's like right out in the open where you're like looking around it. And it's so much like we have the answer and you are the answer. Yeah, but yeah, I was really digging hearing from my friends too, just hearing from Brennan too, because Brennan, he was the GBM guy that's just texting me right now. He's asking me what do I think. He says I asked him if he took his anti-nausea medicine, because he's saying that this is the one that I was telling you about. His cancer really diminished because he quit his job, eliminated stress, and he also kind of brought up something which I thought was really cool. That he used to be so obsessed with being productive and doing stuff, and I gotta say, I'm very guilty of that too. And I remember years ago, a friend of mine gave a friend of mine a book. It was like the Buddhist book, and the cover of it had how to. It was something like the article was like how to stop doing and start being. And I was just like, man, at the time that was just like, whoa, that is bloody cool, man. I never read the article, and I think I even tried to look up the magazine and try and find it. I couldn't find another copy of it. But yeah, I think that's the big issue. It kind of almost syncs up with that whole what's that cliche? The life is a journey, not a destination. Where you get so wound up on doing and doing and doing, and there's always going to be something to do. And it's like, and it's about being in your moments. Because I noticed too with like some of the projects, the art projects or something creative that I want to do, I was always like, well, I'll get to that once I get this done. Once I, like maybe something with your house or something, or work or something you have to get kind of accomplished because it's part of your task. And then it's like, okay, I'll do that then. It's like you got to do it now. You really got to do it now. But man, it is definitely I think the term is a rabbit hole. That may not be it, but I kind of like it. I want to use it for that. I've been following in that rabbit hole. Maybe that's what is that? That little Tea Party the book, Alice in Wonderland. Yeah, maybe so. But yeah, I embrace the stuff. Embrace it. Uh, yeah. So yeah, so my friend's asking me, so what do I think? Oh, and I noticed in this separate thing related more to the monkey mind thing. They got this Eckhart Tolle Facebook thing, and I was like reading it because it's kind of like a reminder of me. Because you can kind of get a little. It's easy to get a little lofty with like, oh, well, I'm kind of more awakened or more enlightened than other people, and that is like the surest fire way to like get your monkey. It's like pumping up your ego, which is kind of basically your thinker, monkey mind, all that kind of good stuff. And but I love you, monkey, right? I gotta remember to love the monkey and love all this weird shit too, or stuff. Sorry, but uh, but yeah, it's a practice, and just go easy on yourself. I mean, that was like the one thing I'm doing. But what should I tell my friend here? He goes, "What do you?" Oh, he was thinking his cancer, his chemo. I didn't even know he was still on chemo, but I guess that makes sense. Oh, that's kind of. We're having some conversations online, like texting, and I almost thought he was kind of telling me off at one point, and I was like, "Oh, okay," because he said, "What did he say to me?" He said something like, "Why get my advice?" What is he saying, from others or something? But what he was actually meaning is he takes more credence on what I say and a few others that are on this site because we're long term with GBM. Like I'm 14 years out, which is really unusual, very unusual. Um, and there got a few other guys, and he gave me their names too. I was going to hunt them down too, but I hadn't done that yet. And see what we have in common and what we don't. A lot of it's very subjective, just on placement. I mean, you can have different parts of your brain get it with different degrees, and they can really it can be just take you out a lot quicker than other parts. Um, some parts of your brain are considered more operable than others. Like currently, so I had 14 years where I was pretty much clean, just doing MRIs every year, monitoring it, and then just on this last year, and I think it's pretty cool. No, it's been 6 months or 7 months. 7 months ago, I got an MRI, and it was like one of those yearly things. New insurance. It was like a mixing up stuff and getting new people involved. And so they found a area over my brain stem and over my cerebellum. And again, I'm not a doctor. And I told my friend when I thought he was calling me out, he said, "Well, I get my advice from others." What he meant is he was just phrasing it kind of odd. What he was really like, I think I just said that he was phrasing it odd, and so now it sounded like he was like saying, "Well," because I'd given him some advice on the next text, and the next one he says, "Well, I get my advice from others." What he meant by I'm stuttering through this, but what he meant was like I don't get as much from my doctors. I get more from you guys that have gone through the experience and are long term with this or after or whatever, however you want to phrase it. Um, a big thing is not to personify your cancer in your body. Like my cancer is something I would advise not saying. You would say the cancer. Um, but I mean, it's almost like cancer is a pretty natural thing. I think it's going through all of our bodies all the time. It's normal, but it's also normal to escort it out of your body with a healthy immune system and but what we were syncing up on is like he was noticing the stress thing, and I think that really kicked it up with me. Now, just like his doctor, my doctor says, that ain't it. It's something else. And it's like, well, I don't know, dude. I don't agree. I definitely, I'm on the same team with my doctor, but I don't really believe, uh, I don't believe everything my doctor says. Definitely not. Though I want to do like the stuff. I mean, I don't really do, but I kind of do. I do. like my Reiki also reminds me is that to be positive on the chemo, and the chemo you can really turn against because it doesn't feel good. Uh, it makes you feel gross, but you almost have to kind of invite some of that in as part of like yeah, you invite that in, and it's a lot about being grateful for everything that we have. Our our bad thoughts, our downs. It's all good, and I think I'm like resisting that way too much, and I want to really practice on. And it's like the beauty about living in your moment is like, man, you can just start over. I mean, start over. Okay, with 5 seconds ago, I was in the fetal position on the floor. Don't worry about it. That's past. You're right now. You can reboot this thing. Um, you have, and I think it's like an endless. Like when I just got that feedback from the doctors, and they were pretty freaked out when they saw that brainstem thing. But it doesn't. It does not look at density. It did not back then. It does not now look like the same density as a 4. It would have been like a lower grade, like a 1 or a 2. Uh, but most of those do actually turn into 4s. Uh, that being said, but I am grateful, very grateful. But anyway, I was going to that story. When I first got that, I was like, oh man, because I was like kind of just easy cruising. I wasn't really thinking about it too much. I mean, I'd done some stuff to try and reach out to the cancer community and try and represent, because I didn't have anybody when I was going through the experience that was long term that I could talk to that looked kind of functional, and like I ran into a few other people, but almost other people were typing for them, and so they obviously had lost a lot of motor skills and cognitive function, and I have too. But it's I think your brain heals. I mean, it's all relative, but and I think it's this attitude. I mean, I mess up a fair amount as far as I judge it, but that's okay. It's okay. This is part of my lessons. I'm learning through this, and it's a beautiful experience. I'm not uh, disappointed in myself for failing, because my failures are just part of the journey. Everything is needed. I think what's the car manufacturer? He had a great thing where like Ford or something. It's like all of it. He has some great sayings like all my mistakes were, like my path to my success. Like he had to do all those things to make his car run. But anyway, going back to the when I first got that news, it kind of hit me like, oh man, because it's kind of a drag. I mean, it's not a drag. Okay, I need to change that attitude. It's a lot of different stuff you're required to do. Like go to the doctors. You gotta pay a lot more money, even if you got great insurance. It's costly. It's Yeah, but it's part of the journey, right? So it's a blessing. What my point to that was? My real point to it was that when I first got it, I was at home alone. This was prior to quarantine, but I was living my quarantine, and so I'd gotten that kind of news, hadn't really rapped with any family or friends about it, and it was just kind of embracing that news, and I was like, okay. And then I just really started to trip out on kind of my moment and how it was like an eternity. Um, and we've all had some kind of experience where it could be painful, or maybe you're underwater even, or something, some kind of like that, where your moment, like time really changes on how you perceive it. And I was like, I was really soaking into this trip that my now was just like an eternity, and like they couldn't, that this tumor, regardless of it, if it took me out, it wasn't really going to take away this kind of eternity. But I mean, it's like so much of us, we just think of ourselves, and I do the same as this, you know, monkey mind, and it's really kind of a the shallower form of what we are. Though it's a beautiful form, so you gotta love it, right? So I definitely need to get over picking on. I think I'm picking on the monkey mind too much. My I'm creating my another little supposedly awakened monkey, and I think it's more about just being and not judging as much and not maybe evaluating so much, making peace. Maybe I'll try and read this thing if I can pull it up. So bear with me on this. Oh, and we're listening to kind of mix up the song thing. This is Brainstorm, which normally we play Monkey Mind. Maybe I'll switch that over. We'll go to Monkey Mind next part of the show. And I'll read this too. Do you know that 102.3 FM WHIVLP New Orleans has been broadcasting for the past 5 years? We are able to honor independent community voices with your support. T-shirts, hoodies, white fanny packs, and more make for great gifts, or treat yourself. Simply go to WHIV.org and click store. That's WHIVFM.org. Thanks, y'all. We are not a radio station with a mission. We are a mission with a radio station. End all wars. I think we had a show on Listen to Us Live where we determined that I'm failing at finding this thing. Or it's in here. Here it is right here. So this is by Rumi. This being is a human, oh God, Mark, sorry Rumi, I butchered that. This being human is a guest house. Every morning a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness, some momentary, I'm so bad, some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Did I butcher that for y'all, or did y'all get that? A joy, a depression, a meanness, some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome all, welcome and entertain them all. Even if they are a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture. Still, treat each guest honorably. Still, treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door laughing and invite them all in. Yikes. That sounds kind of scary. But what are your thoughts? Okay. Be grateful for whatever comes because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. Yeah. Really, really cool. All right. I did start to kind of make that into a reality, inviting these crazy people into your house. So maybe I need to work on that. But I love that. That whole thing is beautiful. And it's funny too how some people perceive you. It's like I was noticing with her, she's like considering that I'm really enlightened. And I don't know, I guess I see so much of the fallacy in that kind of my, like an ego, presentation of that, like, oh, I'm enlightened. Whereas I kind of see her as that. I mean, everything she reaches out, I've never heard her say anything malice about anybody. I mean, just a beautiful, beautiful person. And just every time I'm rapping with her, she always just makes me just feel better and stuff. She was the one that told me, so I was doing shrooms, on after my radio show last Saturday, and I was at home alone, and I just really started tripping out on what am I doing, because I just started noticing, like, I was tripping out on my patterns, on my routines, and I just wasn't really feeling very joyful about them or something. It's like it was like a little bit redundant. It's like I'm working on this at the house, I'm working on that at the house. And collecting bills and doing this and that, and I just started getting, and then I was like trying to, like, because I was binge watching a few different shows, and I'm really kind of I watch a lot of movies and don't tend to watch a lot of series, but every now and then I will. Uh, but yeah, it's like you can just like, God, what am I doing? I'm just like, I almost feel like I was like plugging myself into like some morphine drip or something. And I'm just like laying there watching somebody babble to me about something, and a lot of it's all this ego-y this and that, and it's a bunch of cliches, and it's basically about making money, and they're trying to crank out some product to sell it to get commercial time to make money, and it's like they masquerade it as some like story. And so I was getting kind of down, and I couldn't even watch some of the shows that I've been watching earlier, and they're kind of like, you know, fluff stuff. It's just, you know, but yeah, so I started getting really down on that, and I had to like try and find. I'm trying to think of what else I found to watch. Oh, and then I even tried to watch some nature thing, and then I just started reading into it, like the what they were trying to preach to me, or like they had like a message behind it. And I didn't really like that. I wanted just more like abstraction of nature and no hidden agendas or something like that. Um, but yeah, I wasn't embracing like Rumi was saying, the sorrows of it, and the yeah, man, it's like, come on, bring it on. All right, isn't that a great way to look at life? I love that. That's very cool. But it is a nice thing to share with people about stuff. And going back to my friend here, he's asking me what do I think it is with the he's noticing. So anyway, I guess he's been taking some stuff, but he was known in almost all his reduction. He was relating it to eliminating the stress from his life, and he just had a really big shift where he's not trying to like do all this stuff all the time. He's just saying it's not really that important, and that's a real beautiful thing. Like I always can't say it on the radio, but I always like I operate very well on a positive form of uh, the F word it, F word it. Um, yeah, so I operate really good in that kind of state of mind. That's kind of like a real peace. And it's not like saying like you're dissing something, but it's like, blanket, right? And when I don't, and even like trips that I get on myself, it's like, yeah, it's just such an interesting journey. And I've really been thinking like on this next few years, I would like to start like traveling. So I've been trying to like, I've been obsessing over my house, but that's kind of, it's like the rabbit hole of that whole doing thing. I got to do this, I got to do that. And yeah, that'd be kind of cool to travel. Like I was telling y'all earlier about living in that travel trailer was pretty fun. I mean, it was just real simplistic. It was really small. And he had enough social interaction. Like you'd go, like pretty much you got to go. You can only stay in a campsite for like a week, and then you got to go somewhere else. I mean, it depends on the site, but most of them are like that. Like this, I think it's state, or I'm blanking on it now, but there's like federal land, there's state land, there's different parks and stuff you can go to. The one I was at, mainly across the lake, you had to leave. You could only stay there 7 days, then you had to be gone for at least a day, and then you could come back. So a lot of people just go from, they had two parks that were maybe like, I don't know, 2 miles away from each other, or 3 or something like that. So it's easy enough to, you just break down the campsite, you drive the other one, stay, and you got to book the stuff. And it was kind of fun, just kind of not really, per se going for any kind of destination, but just getting into the journey, like the caravan kind of vibe. Kind of the traveler's lifestyle. Try not to say gypsy, man. Somebody got so mad. I remember years ago I was on this post, and but I think travelers take a lot of pride in the gypsy slang, but some apparently don't. But anyway, I was on like some site, and somebody Oh, with my camper, like they have all these, like clubs and stuff. Like if you got a similar camper, they'll have like a group that everybody shares information if things break down, how to fix it and where to go. And they had some really crazy cool places to go and camp at. I stayed at a few. Stayed at one that was in yeah, I was on the beach, but it was in Florida. It was what the heck was it? Grayton Beach, I think maybe. It was like a Grayton Beach, really cool. Like that vegetation. Um, so like your little camp, you'd back it into it, and it had those, like these pretty little like kind of dune beach leaves that would almost like make you know walls on the side and then almost a roof out of the thing. So it was like this tunnel, and you park your little trailer in there, and yeah, it was really really cool. Really cool there. Really pretty. Beautiful white sands. Beautiful water. The beach. Yeah. I'd like to be in the water more. I miss being in the water. And I don't know if you've ever gone and gotten into a natural spring. You gotta do it. You gotta do it. It is too cool. I guess I did my first. I just really stumbled upon it. I guess I was in that. No, I wasn't in that. I don't know what the heck I was doing. I was camping at some place, and I yeah, I came across one. I was in this. I was in a teepee, but it had no bottom, and so then my stepdad gave me this one of those hammock tents, and so that saved my butt. But it was so cool because this campsite had all these animals. I guess you couldn't hunt there, so these animals were kind of like thought of it as like a feeding zoo. Though they didn't really come up to you and like eat out of your hand. They probably would have, but that's not good to do for wild animals. You don't want to be doing that, even if you can. They need to stay wild, and they need to be suspect of us. That's a good thing. But yeah, it was so pretty. I remember going into it, and I was blown away because it's like basically this. It looks like a swimming pool out in the, and it's just the most crystal clear water just imaginable. I mean, it's just beautiful and just percolating. It's like bubbling up, not really bubbling, but just you can feel that like that that flow coming up, and you just get into it, and it's like usually like a constant, like it's kind of brisk, but you get used to it. You just swim a little bit. It's like a constant year-round 60, I'm not 60, 72 or 75, something like that. And that's why during wintertime, manatee tend to cruise up these things because the water is more consistent, and where it gets cold out in the Gulf. Um, and yeah, very cool, very spiritual. And it's just like, oh man, yeah, it was so cool. I don't know why I was telling you all that story. I had no idea. But, oh yeah, you should go do it. Go do it. Get in a spring. Oh, because I was thinking about traveling. Yeah, I really want to. I really want to hit those up. And then I remember thinking as a kid in school, what was that guy's name? Was it Ponce? Yeah, Ponce de Leon. Like the Spanish conquistador that spent his life looking for the fountain of youth. And I was like, man, what a dope. I remember thinking that. That is so stupid. But as soon as I got into a spring, I was like, man, that guy he knew what was going on. I mean, how cool. He was just going from one beautiful swimming pool, and it was probably as hot as creases getting in that water. I'm sure he was getting in each one because he was that was the vibe. It's like you got into it, and bathing in it gave you eternal life. And it's in you now, baby. It's in you now. So he was right. And each one you get into you'll know when you get into it. Very spiritual, very beautiful. Florida's got a lot of them. I think we got some too here in Louisiana, but I'd like to do a search because I was canoeing one time off in this swamp, and it started getting like a current, and I was just like, what is this? And as soon as you got into it, you really started seeing it flowing. So that had to have been like a natural spring that was somewhere back in there that was just pumping this water out because there weren't any rivers in that area like that. So it was a spring, man. And then I remember the water getting clearer too. But yeah, enjoy. So, what else we got on my list here? Because I write down my list, so if I forget, purpose, MRI. I mentioned the big one. This is always a good one to keep on. Oh, with my thing. So, I just did my MRI, went into the doctor. I was really kind of trying to be good because so much of the news. I mean, you gotta really monitor them. Oof, they just love glorifying the negative. Though, hearing my neighbor hacking the other night from my porch, he was out in the street or outside my gate, far enough away. But it did not sound good. It did not sound good. Definitely do not want to get that. I don't like any kind of respiratory thing like that. It's no fun. No fun at all. But should we be in that, we should welcome that experience and ask it to leave our body. My analogy was always also with cancer is like you don't want to fight things. You basically want to exude, kind of like we were talking about with the welcoming in of all these whatever's flowing through you, kind of welcome it. But also you can welcome it out too. Like aloha is both hello and goodbye. There's some profound mantra to that one. Yeah. So maybe we all do something creative. I've been kind of playing with my second song. It's called Kinky. And that's kind of similar to Monkey Mott, but it's a little different. I'm not going to sing it yet, but maybe next time I'll sing it. I was thinking about once this quarantine gets out, I would start inviting maybe some solo musicians in here, just to like play a tune or something like that in the moment. So it kind of syncs up. But yeah. And then it would be fun if any of the people, I know there's a lot of people are watching this and listening to this, but they don't they're very stealthy on the, or maybe they don't watch it for that long, but who knows? I don't really know how this Facebook thing really works. I just kind of do it. But yeah. So going back to this, I always want to remind people of this, like that whole joy, ease, and lightness, is to really kind of embrace that and notice that in you, and really go easy on you, and welcome all these. What did we get? What was Rummy saying? I've already forgotten. I need to read some Rummy. I want to. That sounds really fun. The dark thought, the shame, the malice. Meet them at the door laughing and invite them all in. They're going to steal your furniture, but that's okay. You can buy new ones. A new sofa. Maybe not. Be grateful for whatever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I remember a lot of people talking about Rummy sometimes. I thought he was more modern, but I think I'm mixing him up with some other person. But I think my friend was saying this was like 13th century or something like that. This guy was writing. But hey, Jessica. Yeah. So yeah, so much of this is such a crazy experience. So yeah, so back to mine. I just did my MRI, and it showed a reduction. So this guy, my doc, wants to keep me on this temozolomide, which is like an oral chemo. And I was kind of really hoping that this was all like, what do you call it, scar tissue. And so I was really kind of fingers crossed on that one, but it looks like it's a low-grade tumor, but that's okay too. I invite all in, and I invite it to leave my body too. Then we're going to try and go to, see if I can find this thing. And we'll play maybe some Monkey Mott. I see Red Priest. So that was just Red Priest on guitar playing Brainstorm, and this is My Monkey Mind.
My monkey mind. My monkey mind. Hey, monkey, I want you to love me. Monkey, I wanna love you where I feel you. You, my monkey. You're so mean and cruel, but you're mine, oh mine. My little monkey. When I was a little boy, I had a life-size toy. It was a monkey. When I sneezed, it made a huge sound. Hey, monkey, yeah, I want you to love me. Monkey, I wanna love you when I feel you. You, my monkey. You're so mean and cruel, but you're mine, oh mine. My little monkey. This chimpanzee wearing a suit at the door sitting in the bar. He tells a joke to the bartender. He's also a chimpanzee. The joke is about chimpanzees. Hey, monkey, I want you to love me. Monkey, I want to love you when I feel you. You and monkey. You so mean and cruel, but you're mine, oh mine. My little monkey. Watch out, those goddamn monkeys bite us up. Hey, monkey, I want you to bite me, monkey. I don't really care, you're not mine, oh mine. You with me all the time. Hey, monkey, I feel you.
But we ain't one. Everybody know that monkey, that monkey, that monkey, that monkey mind.
I want you to love me. Monkey, I want to love you when I feel you. You're so mean and cruel, but you're not mine.
Oh, mine, little monkey. Yeah. Ooh. I want you to bite me, monkey. I don't really care, you're not mine, oh mine. You with me all the time. Hey, monkey.
Feel me. We ain't one.
Ow. They so. Monkey, that monkey, that monkey, that monkey man. Can't help I love that monkey, that monkey, that monkey man. Was working on my kinky song the other day, Red.
Get it.
I was getting on it. I was doing it to your brainstormers.
Go ahead on.
I was doing it.
Medley or something.
Yeah, like
one lead.
Right. How was that on that? All right, y'all. Love yourselves. Love that monkey too, and invite all these strange things in as if they were meant to be, and make them your own. Much love.
Wow.
Ooh, I got some lessons today, dude. I got learned. Rob got learned.
I was listening, coming in.
Well, I mean, from other people, man.
Yeah, no.
Like cool. People sharing stuff with me.
Yeah, I had a great experience.
Okay, what am I doing? If you end this limber now, you will be able to